All right. Let's go. Let's start our journey. I don't have a script. All I have is just a really long notepad of stuff. So we'll see where this takes us. How does year in review normally start? I probably should have watched a year in review before I started. Right, classes. Let's talk about my classes. So, senior year. It's like all other years, except you don't know why you're still there. I remember that first day that I was just looking at my classes and I was walking through the halls with Will, and I was thinking, why am I still here? I've never been at a school that long. You know, halfway through elementary school, I went to a different elementary school. Middle school, I only went to 2 grades. Then junior high, 2 grades. If you live somewhere else besides Arkansas, it may be different. But yeah, we have different schools for 7th and 8th grade. And so I'd never had to be in a school for that many years. And it was just weird. It was weird being there. And also because I was a senior. So why do I still have to be here? But beside that, I liked my classes. They were fun. I was settling in. I was getting stuff done for graduation. Just, you know, stuff that I put off. For instance, my very first semester was physical education. And I don't know, I just didn't want to do it those first few years, and then I did it senior year. Probably shouldn't have done that, because if I did it my first year, I would have known the people in my PE class, because most of them are freshmen. But I had some fun in there. On the first day, I saw a kid named David who was in my French class. I was like, yo, what's up? I haven't seen you in like 2 years. What's popping? And then there's another kid named Jack who, I don't know how I started talking to him. We just slowly started talking and we became friends. But I haven't talked to him much since PE. I've seen him in the halls and go, what's up? What I do? You know, there was some fun stuff in there. And did it suck? Not really. All I did was walk. Whenever I found out all you had to do was walk the whole time, I was like, yo, I'm going to walk my way to this PE credits. Yeah, that's PE. There wasn't much to it. But if it was the second semester, my first period was economics. That class was all right. It was okay. No, that is the wrong thing. I'm just saying, I'm talking out my butt right now. Economics was great, but it was kind of hard towards the end. But that's probably because of COVID. But also it was kind of easy. It was the ideal class. We were mostly juniors and seniors, and so our teacher respected us, and she let us do what we wanted as long as it wasn't disruptful. Is that a word, disruptful? As long as we didn't disrupt the class. And so we got to do things like go to the bathroom whenever we wanted, and we didn't have to like raise our hand like, can I go to the bathroom? Or even sign out. We just left. We just left to go to the bathroom. Perfect. No conflicts at all. None. She had stations where you could charge your phone, because she knows that kids are going to charge their phone. She had a coffee machine, and she said you can have coffee in the morning. Best teacher. She was very good, but also it was economics. But she was very enthusiastic about it. She liked economics, and so she taught it well. Towards the end, though, with online class, then it's kind of hard to pay attention. I mean, it was essentially the same class. It was her lectures and PowerPoints, and I could have learned exactly the same way, but I didn't want to. So what I ended up doing was cheating. All quizzes, all homework. Like before, with the homework, what it was you do the homework, like you fill in the answers of what you think it is, and there's a video to figure out what it is. And then after that, there's a section right after that gives you the answers, and so you can go back and correct it. And I actually did those before. I'd go to the library right before I went to English, and then I'd do my homework, and I'd actually learn, and I'd learn those things. And I knew that I could take advantage of it, but I was like, I'm not going to take advantage of it. I mean, I'm a senior. Sure, I could slack off, but I also want to learn a few things. And then I didn't anymore because I didn't want to. So yeah, I really liked economics at the later parts. But then at the very end, she probably thought like, everybody's getting good grades. That shouldn't be happening. And so she made it a bit harder, and we had to fill out notes that weren't as easy. So I didn't like that bit. But for the most part, economics was the perfect class. Then there is... Oh, I'm stupid. I forgot 0B. Also, I don't think I filmed anything in 0B, so you're not going to see any clips of that. But anyway, 0B was Algebra 3, and did not like that class. Really sucked. I didn't like it because it was the one class that felt a lot like I was still in a class. I didn't want to be treated as a little boy. I know I'm not an adult, but I'm 18 years old. I've lived long enough on this earth to where I think you can stop talking to me like I'm a third grader. One of my friends had an experience where he accidentally wrote something like not the right way, like levels on lines, third grade type stuff. But the thing is we neglect it because who cares? You know that that's what it's supposed to be. That didn't stop her from taking Will aside and saying, "Remember how in first grade, whenever you learn how to write on a line?" Did not like that, but I still got good grades in there. And also the thing was I come in and there's nobody that I know in there. Nobody. I knew the people. They were all in my same grade, which was one of the only classes besides English that everybody was my grade. But they were all just the right people to be the ones I don't know. All know of, but not know personally. I got to know Katie, who sat next to me, so that was cool. And I knew Clayton. But the thing is if it's just like two people, well, that's the thing too, is like they would come to my mind faster, but the thing is we couldn't talk that much. We probably could have, but all class was coming in, taking notes, and then on certain days taking a quiz or a concept check. It was so boring. It was so quiet. It was tense. But that was Algebra 3, and I had to do it at 0B. Which also, I scheduled regular start. I don't like 0 hour, but I got 0 hour anyway, and I think that's because a lot of the algebra classes were in 0 hour. So, oh well. I would be done with this by now. Also, let me go back to economics real quick. Let me finish that off. I also had class with Cameron, Valeria, Jacob, and Max, and that was fun. And Tyler. But Tyler, sorry about that first day, Tyler, if you're watching. I couldn't control the situation. Basically, it was a table of 4, and I was at 1. Cameron came in. I'm like, I know Cameron. Jacob and Valeria came in, and they sat down too, and I was like, Tyler came in, but he didn't get to the seat fast enough, so he had to go to the other one, and I was just like... Anyway, so let's go on to the next class. The next class was second period, and second period was film. And oh my gosh, I love film. You know this. And film was great. But it was kind of weird. The class size got smaller every year. Whenever I went into fundamentals of television, the whole class filled up. Every computer had someone. And if that computer didn't have someone, it was probably a broken computer. Next year, it was cut in half. There was way less people, and they were all doing their own thing. We did sourdough and all that. But this year, it was cut a lot. There was only 7 people? 6 people? Hold on. It was me, Will, Evan, Cameron, Tyler, and Ben. So 6 people. And also, Cameron wasn't there at first because he had Ignite, which was like a special temp program type thing. I don't know how to describe it to people who don't know what Ignite is, but we worked on the backrooms the whole year. I don't know if this video came out after the backrooms or before it. I feel like it's going to come out after, because here's the thing. We filmed that whole year. We had the last act that we had to film. We probably wouldn't be able to finish editing it at school, but I could have filmed it here, given that we wouldn't accidentally format the footage and it was all corrupted. Then coronavirus happened. Again, messing up my plans, you stinky boy. So there was a lot we hadn't filmed, but then I realized we could just film this one scene and link these 2 acts together, and we wouldn't have to have that whole act. It's not like we had to film a whole movie. We weren't aiming for that either, but I know it's going to be long. So if that's out, great. If it's not yet, it's going to. I know it will. Anyway, so film was a big part of my year, but I don't think if there's any more I could say about it. Oh, no, there is. I'm going to skip to 4th period, which is seminar, because technically it's exactly the same as 2nd period. Not seminar. 4th flex. Advisory. Because the thing is I always scheduled Mr. Dungan, my film teacher, for Tiger Vision for both flex periods. Basically, my B days look like algebra, and then I was in Mr. Dungan's room for 3 hours. It was great. It was so good. Oh, and also eventually at some point I went on Tiger Vision. Here's some Tiger Vision clips. Hello BHS, it's time for your Wednesday's announcements.
Yep, let's get right into it.
All right, that was the news. Hope you liked it. I hope you like that frog too. He's just vibing. Let's go into Tiger Vision, bro.
What? News.
A lot of people came up to me and they said they liked it. I was like, well, cool. Nobody came up to me and said it was bad, but I know a lot of people said it was bad. I heard from other people from what they heard from other people. Like someone said, "What are they trying to be funny?" Well, yeah, or even slightly. I mean, it's the new. I'm just reading announcements. I want to make it a little interesting for you, so just chill out. Oh my gosh. But anyway, yeah. So that was that. So let's go back to third period. I'm jumping all around. This is why I probably should have made a script, so I could fully articulate my ideas in words before I articulate them out my mouth. Third period was theater. My third year in third year in theater. Yes. I don't know how I feel about that class. Because the thing is, we got a different teacher this year. He's fine. I like him. But the thing is I got this effect that I get in a lot of my classes whenever you're a senior, that I don't know anyone. I knew one person, and that's just because he was in my class last year, which we talked a bit, but I don't know. I just did not want to be there anymore. I didn't want to. Well, because also the thing is the teacher was gone, and so it was a new teacher, and I didn't want to try to have a new teacher in the last year I'm going to be there. But also the thing is we had two teachers at the time. One has already been there, and he's the makeup teacher, like theatrical makeup, and I did not like him. I like him. I mean, I probably like him if I was in theatrical makeup, and I like theatrical makeup, but as a theater guy, I don't like. A requirement for class was, in previous years, was we had to watch both plays. That's fine. I'll watch both plays. I want to watch both plays. But this year, he changed it. That you had to watch all shows. All of them. I don't mean just the first play and the second play. I mean every showing of the first play and every showing of the second play. What? As a student, you have to pay $5 to watch one of them. So for 4 shows, it's $20. The second show, $40. Why do I have to pay $40 for theater? And that's just for me. I'm a student. If you were a normal person, you have to pay $10 each ticket. You would have had to pay $80 if you came along with me and you were not a student. That's crazy. That's crazy. And obviously everybody was mad about that, so they said you only have to watch 2 shows per production. Still, it's too stupid. So I just didn't do that, and I didn't tell anyone. And the second play I never got to watch because the coronavirus happened. That's gonna come up a lot. So anyway, but yeah, no, for the most part it felt exactly the same as all other years I had theater. I even there were some assignments that were exactly the same, so I used the same assignments. There's a theatrical resume, and all I did was use the same resume. There was a monologue, and I used the exact same monologue. I had to relearn that monologue though. I mean, it had been a year since I did it, so I can't just remember something and then it's stuck in my brain forever. I mean, that's what it's like for all assignments. Like in Algebra 3, I'd learn something and then I'd do the test and I'd forget it right after. Teachers always surprised when I learned something previous years and then they're like, do you remember this? And I'm like, no. But that is theater. Now let's go back to fourth period, but instead of saying, where it's fourth flex, there's the advisory, which is the kind of the homeroom thing. And it's so weird because the thing is I found out at some point in high school that we were supposed to keep the same seminar/advisory teacher all 4 years, but somehow I'd managed to have mine change like 4 times. All with the same people too. Well, vaguely the same amount of people. Like the first year, I had a teacher, then I changed the second year, and then junior year, I was surprised when I had the same teacher. That's when I learned that I was supposed to keep the same one the whole time. But then this year, I had a totally different one. Okay, but I only had her for 2 weeks or like a month or something, and then we changed to another guy. It was so weird how I just managed to have 4 different advisory teachers. But anyway, yeah, for the most part, it was all the same people from last year. I mean, it was all the same people from last year. The only time that everybody kind of changed was the first year, and I don't know why that happened. I don't know why they had to split us up. Anyway, like I used to have Tim in my seminar, and now and he's not anymore. Well, did I not bring that up in the sophomore review? I should have, because I was peeved, man. Now, on to fifth period. What is fifth period? What is fifth period? Fifth period Why can't I remember with it? Oh, ceramics. Ceramics. I liked ceramics. I thought I was gonna hate it and then be okay with it. But really what happened was I was okay with it and then I loved it. Because, I don't know, I was just kind of good at ceramics. I made some really good stuff at the end. But I didn't ever get to glaze those and take them home because of the coronavirus. But they were really good. There was one that was like a big old funky water jug with a silly face. Oh, I wanted that. I wanted that so bad, but alas, that did not happen. I mean, there were some crappy ones. Like the first few really sucked. I hated those. Like coil or whatever. I think the funniest thing from that happened in ceramics was the very first project we did a coil thing. My project, I was late to start. It looked horrible. It didn't meet any of the requirements, like the width or the height. And then when it came time to glaze, I glazed the whole thing late, and then I never got it back. Why did I never get it back? And then I figured out 3/4 through the year why I never got it back was because when you glaze something, you have to clean the bottom off, so that when you glaze it, it doesn't stick to the kiln. And one time, my mug, like I did clean it off, but a little bit was still on there, so they had to chip it off, and there's kind of a sizable chunk out of it. And if the whole bottom was glazed, I just hope I didn't do irreversible damage to the kiln. But yeah, I mean, the teacher also liked me. She liked my drawings. I did sketches for stuff, like here's some sketches, I guess. I don't know. I'll put them on the screen. And yeah, that was ceramics. Now we go to 6th period, which was wow. I have already forgotten what my classes were. First semester, it was media literacy. And I loved media literacy. I took media literacy because I heard it was essentially watch movies the class. And it was. We watched a lot of movies. But there are also some assignments. But the thing is it turned out better than I expected. Like, I actually gained new perspectives from watching things because I had a great teacher, Miss Benish, who was also my English teacher. I feel like Will has her, but he probably doesn't see her as a great teacher. I don't know. I guess if you just have her for media literacy, then you don't really understand where she's coming from. But I had her for English too, and I was like, wow, she's a great teacher. She's also one of those teachers where she respects you. Like, she knows you are a little person. You're not a little kid anymore. You're a little person. And so she treats you with respect. She'll still do teacher things, like, give me that assignment, make sure you're all right, all that. But that's fine. I'm not going to tell you to not do that. I mean, obviously, everybody would like a teacher to say, to stop saying, give me that assignment, but they have to. So, but yeah, media literacy, it was cool. We had there was someone there who was from University of Arkansas, and he was actually doing like a research type thing for some degree where you had to do a thing. Thesis? What was his thesis? I don't know. I'm not in college. But anyway, so he did it about media or something, and so he interviewed us kids. He said it was random, but there was an element that it was whoever had the most interesting responses would be put in, and I always had interesting ones, so I was pretty much always interviewed. I think I was the only one who was interviewed after every checkpoint or whatever, and I gave very insightful stuff, I gotta say, because I did get a lot out of the class. Because I want to go to college and I actually want to do film stuff, then media literacy was a pertinent class to me. I really liked it, not just for the films, but because of the messages and things that they said in the films and the writing, and it's just molto bene. And then I had 7th period, which again was very funny because then 7th period was English, which was the other class taught by Miss Benish. And so I ended up staying in that class on Fast Fridays. I just stayed in that class both periods. But let's not skip ahead yet, because 6th period in the 2nd semester was mythology. And mythology, I don't know how I feel about mythology. I think I would have liked mythology if I was with someone I knew. I mean, I like mythology, but the class mythology I did not like, because again, it was so boring. The teacher talked in a monotone voice, and we had to take notes, and I didn't do that. Like, once I became a senior, I talked with Lucas about this too. Whenever you get to a certain age, you just stop wanting to take notes. In college, you will, because it'll be things you want to know, or things you have to know. But the thing is I realized, I'm not going to go back to these notes. I'm not going to learn these notes. Some people do, but I don't think I've ever gone back to my notes and studied. Is that a testament to how smart I am? Not really. I think I just adapted to never looking at my notes, so I gathered more information in class whenever I was there. there. Like, whenever I'm copying notes, I'm slow enough of a writer to where I'm focusing more on writing than actually retaining what I'm listening to. And I never even look back at the notes. So making notes is just a detriment to myself. Because often I'll write notes and then I'll go back to it and I'll be like, what was I saying there? There's been times where I was falling asleep in class and I'm like barely hanging on, just writing. And then I write and then I'm like, I wonder if I'll know what this is later. And then I read it, like thinking I did an okay job at doing my notes. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? But yeah, no, mythology was pretty boring. There was a fun kid in there, though. He was also in the Tiger Vision Seminar Advisory 4th Flex. But that was 6th period. And then 7th period is English, like I said, and English was so fun. English was like a traditional English class. That's all it was. Like, we were just doing English, but now I'm in 12th grade. That's all it was. But the best part about it was everybody in there was a senior. If you were in English 4, you were a senior, most likely. And also, you weren't like a kid who took AP classes or advanced English classes, so you weren't slightly boring, possibly. That's not a dig on people who take AP classes or advanced classes. It's just, I don't know, if you're stupid, you're more fun. But also, you weren't stupid. Who cares? If you're in English, you're stupid. So I got to have fun with like-minded individuals, and we could relate because we were all in the same grade, and it was fun. I mean, English 4, honestly, because Ms. Benish was very much with graduation committees or whatever, she was all about having fun with us and preparing us for the real world. I mean, not like teaching us how to do taxes and stuff like that, obviously, but like preparing us in the sense that, hey, don't forget, you're going to go to the world soon. And then you're like, oh, right, I forgot. Thank you. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. I don't know. She just understood that we were different than every other kid in the school because we were leaving and we were older and we had high school behind us. I mean, it's weird. It's weird being at this point. You know what's funny? Remember in Year in Review Freshman, I used that one song, Resonance by Home, and I really liked it, and I liked it so much that whenever I thought of the year in review idea, I wanted to use that in this one, but I really didn't think I was going to stick with doing this. I thought I would stop. I thought I'd do that and then I'd just forget the next year. But I didn't. I'm still here. And I guess I could still use it, but I don't know. I like variety. I like doing different things. So that's in the freshman one, and now I'm using whatever song's playing right now. But those are my classes. And we're over, and oh my gosh, that is so long. I've been talking so long right now. If I had a script, I would have finished this in pretty much the length of what Year in Review Freshman was. But I'm only done with the classes. And I have a lot more to talk about because this is the last year I'm in high school. Anyway, so let's continue. I learned a lot of things this year. A lot of things. Were they academic? Not at all. Not one bit. Definitely did not retain any academic knowledge. Maybe a little bit about economics. I learned about exactly how the housing market crashed. And now it makes sense. That's stupid. But it makes sense. It makes sense. But I learned the simple truths. I learned to embrace simple things that you were told when you were younger, but like in cartoons or something, but you didn't retain because you were a little kid and you were like, I don't care, the lions are singing. And just like experiencing those things firsthand and being like, wow, they were right. I had no idea. But one I learned was no one cares. There's a lot of things that we care about, and the other people don't care about it. As you are leaving high school, there's so many passions about things that you like, so many things you want to show other people, but no one cares because we're all caring about our own things. And so I finally realized, hey, no one cares. Some people will care. There are a fair few people that do care. But, you know, we want everybody to care. And that's not plausible. That's not possible. Like, here's something. This shirt, this plaid overshirt and this red undershirt, I use that for the back rooms. And so I always had to wear it so there was the right continuity. There are different days, and I probably should have worn different things. But for the most part, I was wearing this the whole year. I mean, I'd switch on the days I didn't have to film, and some days I didn't wear this to school. I just put it in my backpack and I changed into it and changed back out. The thing is no one cares. I mean, watching this right now, you guys probably care somewhat because it's me having a first account of something. But even then, it's like you guys go off and do your own things, and no one's going to pay attention to you like watching this video right now. No one's going to sit there and listen to you for, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, however long this thing's gonna be. It's probably gonna be an hour, but I'm probably gonna be talking for 2 hours. No one cares. And that's a thing I struggled with a long time figuring out, but no one cares. That doesn't sound very hopeful, but it's the truth. And honestly, it's really nice knowing the truth. There's a nice feeling of content whenever you figure it out. Another thing I had a lot of this year was stress. There was a lot of stress throughout the whole year. Because here's the thing. I am 18 now. I am going to college, and I have a lot of responsibilities that I'm going to have to pick up soon. I said it in the last one. I said that in sophomore too, that I know soon I'm going to have to do something responsible and stop being a little kid. And I still haven't done those. I really did think that I'd hold out this long, but apparently I have. And so I seem to have avoided it. So, and it's not on purpose, but it's also not on accident. I mean it is on accident. I just had those things in my mind, and I was like, I will get to those, and then I didn't. I mean, I did eventually do things that I knew I had to do, but the weirdest part is coming out of high school and becoming an adult is there's no deadlines. In high school, you get an assignment, and they say this is when it's due, and you do it by then, any point before then, and only before then, and then you turn it in, and it's done. But when you're an adult, there's not really deadlines. There are deadlines, but the thing is, there's a lot of things that no one tells you have to do, and there's a lot of things that no one says when you have to do those things if you do have to do them. Like, I have to get a car, but no one says you need to get a car by this date. I know there's a period of time when I should, like now, applying for colleges. I procrastinated so hard on that. I procrastinated so hard, I did not know I was doing it at the last minute. Like, I did half of the application, and then I got to a point where I was like, oh, well, I don't have that information right now, so I'll finish this application later. And then I went to go play video games, and then Mom said, oh, the applications are due today. Well, I guess I'm finishing it then. Just yesterday, I scheduled my classes, and I didn't know that there was some sort of due date. I mean, well, technically there wasn't, but there was. I got like 4 emails from my advisor for the major that I wanted, saying hopefully do it by Friday. Which is today, by the way. And I did it yesterday, and I got it approved. But the thing was I didn't understand why I needed to, and then it was because classes have limits. There's people who need to be in those classes, and so seats were running out. There was some classes that I wanted, but there was no seats left. I mean, the only reason I wanted that class was because of the time. Like, I was going to pick that class, like, no matter what. Like, that's what they did in my 4-year plan or whatever. That's a weird thing. Just a lot of stress of things I need to do, and I just haven't done them. I need to learn how to drive. I feel kind of comfortable behind the wheel right now, but I need to do it in like a few months, or hopefully less than that. There's no due dates. There's no due dates, no deadlines. Whenever you get a job, there is. I mean, if you're doing something like a day-by-day basis, not really. But if you're doing jobs that have to do with like creating something, whether it be creative or say maybe like a spreadsheet at an office or something, those have deadlines. But otherwise, you don't have deadlines. So, I don't know, stress. It's a mess. Something else that's kind of weird senior year is people are just gone. You know, it's like it's weird being in a school that you've been in for 4 years, and yet you feel like you know less people now than when you first came, because those people have moved away or they dropped out. I mean, for the most part, all my friends were still in school. But the weirdest thing is some friends you lose. I lost a friend, one that I had since 3rd grade. He thought 2nd grade. It was 3rd. And it's so weird. Like, I remember, of course, thinking, we're best friends. We are never going to not be friends. But then we changed. We became different people. I mean, I still feel like I am exactly how I was in the past. But I know I definitely have changed. So this friend, which you know who you are if you're watching, which I don't know if you are. I mean, I really don't know if you are. That's weird. He became like a kind of a theater kid. And that started back in like junior high. It was really strange. He said in 8th grade, I want to be an actor. And I was like, okay. And it's so strange. Like, he was friends with people that I didn't know. Now, that's the thing. That's common to have friends who have other friends that you don't know, and it's weird meeting them. But the thing is, it was a whole different group of people. He just started knowing different people. Around this time, I became friends with people who I am still best friends with now. The weirdest thing is he just changed. And I think it's partly because we didn't grow with each other. Like, we became friends in 3rd grade. And the thing is when you're 3rd grade, every 3rd grader's like the same. Like, some are sporty and some are not, but most pretty much are stupid. You know, it's like everybody bonds over poop and fart jokes. You know, there was a story I told Mom one time where I had a bunch of like scabs and marks over my hand, and my mom asked me, "Where did you get those?" And I was like, "Oh, well, that's because I was pretending to be poop, and I came out of a hole." Anyway, at junior high is when you really start getting your personality, you know, your identity. And he started early. He was like, "I'm going to be an actor," and I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't pay any mind. But the thing is I kind of like acting too. I mean, I was in theater class, and my theater teacher in junior high was like, "Why didn't you audition for forensics?" I was like, I just missed the deadline, to be honest. But I'm so glad I did, because I don't like forensics kids. I really don't. If you're watching this and you're a forensics kid, sorry, but don't like your clique. You're probably okay. But the thing is when you become a part of that collective unconscious of performing kids. Blah. My brother was in forensics for 2 years, one in his freshman year and once in his senior year. And no, he can attest. Doesn't like them. So I took theater. I liked acting, so I took theater. And I know I'm pretty good, because every time I did my stuff, I get compliments. I'm just saying. And so we grew apart. I grew with my friends now, and we got our personalities together. We are compatible because we grew pretty much similarly, whereas he grew differently and apart. I really knew we probably stopped being friends whenever he did things with other people that we'd never done. Like, one time he went to a movie with some guy, which for a long time I didn't like this other guy. But honestly, now I just feel bad for him that he has to be friends with this guy. I was like, we never watch movies together. How come he watched a movie with him? One time he went to the airport to go somewhere, and the friend was there with him to go to the airport. How come I never got to do that? And so that's when I started realizing this is probably not my best friend anymore. He certainly doesn't think so. Yeah, and we just kind of slowly grew apart. I kind of unofficially cut that friendship whenever the house got foreclosed on my freshman year, and then I moved in with my dad sophomore year, and I was in Siloam, and I told my friends, except him, he was on my bus. I mean, he lived in the vicinity of me. He would know that I moved. I mean, I told my other friends because there was the very, very likely possibility that I was going to go to a different school now. But we didn't, but I still would not be on the bus. And so, you know, it was the last day of school. I was like, I probably should tell him by now. And then I got off the bus, and I didn't. I did not tell him. And so I wonder what he was thinking, you know, first day of sophomore year, and I'm just not on the bus anymore or at that house. So yeah, no, it's weird. It's weird. And the craziest part about it was, I think, being a kid, and if I was told that you are going to lose him as your friend, I would have been like, no. And I would have thought that, you know, when that happened, I would be sad. But I wasn't. I was glad. I was glad I wasn't friends with that person anymore. Because the thing is we had changed. We became totally different people. It was kind of a mutual thing, but not mutual. It was my first ghosting. But the thing is, the weirdest part was, it wasn't ghosting of someone you kind of knew. It was someone you were best friends with. And instead, I just was not friends with them anymore. And I know that can happen anytime. That can happen years down the line. I like my friends now, and I really don't see myself not talking to them anymore. I can see myself not talking to them for long stretches of time, but I feel like I'll still be friends with them for a very long time. But who knows? You know, that can change. There's a friend that I have right now, which I wouldn't say we're not friends anymore, but the thing is he did something that we never thought they'd do, totally out of character of what we thought they'd be. And so once that happened, we didn't say we're not your friend anymore, but we just kind of stopped talking to them. And then they're engaged. I should have talked to them a little bit more. So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. Really, I think it all boils down to people that you're with through time and what you experience with each other. I mean, that's the thing. I never experienced anything with that first friend that I don't have anymore, like crazy ones. But I did with the other friends, and we're still friends. And we're constantly seeking out new things to do with each other. So I think that will stay together for a long time. Friendships, it's weird. It's a weird thing. I'm not an extrovert, but I'm also not anti-social. I mean, I like staying alone and doing nothing, but I also like being out with my friends. But also, it's exhausting being out with friends. At the end of the day, I'm not coming home like, I am rejuvenated. I come home and I'm like, all right, now it's time to take a shower. Friendships. It's a weird thing that you learn a lot about in high school that you never thought you would know more than you did as a kid. As a kid, it's just like, okay, this is person that I talk to a lot more than other people. It's weird. It's weird liking people. It's a weird idea that you admire other people. And that's something I struggled with too this year. Relationships, or lack thereof. After last year, going into this year, I was thinking, I need to focus on myself. Like I need to get my shit together, so I'm going to focus on myself. And I mean, you can't help it. You can't say, oh, I will not be attracted to women anymore. That's no longer something I'm going to do. I still did it, but I didn't pursue anything. I wasn't like, all right, I need that girlfriend. But that did not stop me from really wanting one. And I didn't think that was much of a problem. It was never really a problem before. I mean, I really wanted one, but it wasn't like a dire need to have some sort of intimacy with a different person. I never really sat and thought about it, but then one day, you know, I'm a dude. I like girls, and so I'm bound to have like small crushes on a lot of girls. Again, never really pursued them, but one day, it was just after English, which was also my last period, in case I didn't say that because I had 0A. I was leaving and I was going to walk out the back, and somehow the universe decided to just throw all the people that I could not have a relationship with in front of me. I mean, nothing said I couldn't, but I told myself I couldn't. It just threw them all in my path to leave. Well, also part of it was a lot of them at that point, I learned they either had boyfriends already, or they just weren't in a place to where I could come up and talk to them because I didn't know them. Like I said last year, you know, if I don't have a reason to talk to someone, then I don't really want to. If that reason is, oh, I want to go on a date with you, that's not valid. Also, that's the thing. I needed to work on myself because I didn't have a job. I didn't have a car. You know, you kind of have to have those things at this point in life if you want to have a girlfriend. But anyway, back to the short story. I walked and I just kept seeing them. And the weirdest thing happened. I just got mad. I got angry. Like, I got so mad, I had to clench my fist that I didn't like punch a wall or something. That has never happened. I've never been to that level. And the weirdest bit is there isn't like a reason. I mean, I know you're like, well, I guess that's the reason you just said. Not really. I mean, it's like, there's nothing I could be mad at. What am I mad at? The universe? I was just mad. Just undirected anger. And it like ruined my day. Walking back to that car, I was just so mad. I didn't understand it. I got in the car and I was just kind of quiet. It wasn't a bad day, but I couldn't remember the good parts because I was just so mad at that point. And that was weird. I've never had anything like that since either. I just got mad. I just didn't understand. The idea of a relationship is like a bird. A bird goes onto a tree branch, and you look at it, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful little creature, and you want to inspect it more. You want to know more about this bird. But, you know, you can't put your finger out and expect it to come to you. So what you have to do is you have to get up and get closer to it. But the thing is if you get close to any normal bird, they're going to fly away. That's just what they're going to do. That sounds kind of sad, I guess. That's what it's like right now. Until you can actually figure out how to get a bird to come to you. Or I don't know, capture a bird. This is kind of a bad analogy now. You will forever just wish you could see more birds. Although I sound like a hopeless wreck. I know that I could get a girlfriend if I tried. Many people have said, like, they've asked, do you have a girlfriend? And I'm like, no. And they're like, how? People said, like, you could get a girlfriend. And I'm like, I don't. Sure. Okay. The thing is if people are so confident that I could get a girlfriend, then how come none's asked me? The only time a girl ever asked me they wanted to go on a date, it was because of a dare. Oh, that sounds so bad. I mean, it was middle school. It was a stupid thing. But the lack of people asking for me does not instill any confidence. But something I want to follow up on from last year. If you recall, I spent 2/3 of video talking about a girl, and I know you're like, oh my god, I don't care. But I have some interesting stories that you would like to know that follow up after the very end of that story. You know, where I just told her, and I thought that was the end of it. I mean, the reason. The reason I kind of made it slightly dramatic and I had to tell her was because I thought that was the last time I'd see her. That was not the last time I saw her. I mean, I didn't talk to her anytime after that, but one time was we had to take an AP test. The class was an AP class, and you can figure out what class that is from last year if you go look at what it was. I was trying to avoid it, but you can figure out what it is. You can figure out what class it was from the video. I'm trying to not name names, but I'm not too careful. So anyway, so we had to take an AP test, and I went into that AP test in the waiting area, and I thought, am I gonna see them again? Like they have to be at this AP test, don't they? Like she was a senior, but the thing is seniors, they're not like exempt from AP tests at times. Man, the lighting makes me look kind of bald. I have hair, trust me. Don't worry. That's weird. Maybe I shouldn't have sat directly under a light. Bag? I don't know. Maybe sit closer? I'm stupid. Anyway, so I sat there with Will's sister because she was also in my class, and people slowly started coming in. I was like thinking about, should I say anything? Should I say, I don't know, sorry? Sorry I was weird? I don't know. I don't think I should. I mean, I said all I wanted to say, and I tended to never talk to her again, so I guess I don't really need to. And I saw her arrive at some point, and I kind of did a glance over. I don't think she looked at me. I don't know. I mean, I know she knew I was there and she noticed me, but she didn't come over and say anything either because, I don't know, makes sense. And I took the AP test. She was like 3 tables ahead of me. Like it's a whole gym. And she was only 3 tables ahead of me. And so, I don't know. I never looked at the score I got on that AP test. I don't know. I don't think I did good. Like I feel like I did good, but I also don't think I did good. This whole time, I was thinking about her. And then it ended. And I went home. So that was the last time I saw her. Wrong! Not the last time I saw her. Because then I went off and I did the year in review junior. And I talked about my thoughts. But I saw her again. What? Where? It was the first Friday after I even put up year in review junior. And so I talked with my dudes about it. And they talked to me about it. And they were like, most people don't talk about their feelings like that. That's really cool. And they're like, yeah, man, I understand. Which was interesting. I didn't expect that response. I mean, there wasn't a response I expected at all. I wasn't thinking of, well, how are they going to react? But that's cool. That's cool that people like that I did that. I thought they would have been like, boring. Well, there was one friend that like kind of made fun of it. And I was like, what the I thought you liked it. Anyway, so what it was then it was first Friday. It was summer. I hadn't seen this girl in like 2 months. And I was trying to forget him. And so we went into a store that's at the square. And the day before, I went swimming. And I got sunburnt. Really badly. I think the worst sunburn I've ever had. And I accidentally like hit my glasses into a lake. And so I didn't have my glasses. I was wearing different old glasses. And I had shaved my beard. I mean, this still isn't like full caliber, but it's better than what I had last year. And so we were there. It was me, Will, Colin. I think Tim was in the bathroom, and Will was with his girlfriend at the time. And I was just standing there. We came to the store because we wanted to talk to Ethan, who works there. And so we were looking around for him. I couldn't find him, but we all had to go to the bathroom, so we went there. And so I was waiting out there, and I was just kind of looking around. And then I looked, and I saw someone, like one of the workers. And I looked closer, and then I realized that it was her, and I got so scared. And so I freaked out. Like, seriously. I, like, had, like, a moment where I was like, what do I do? So all I knew was I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to leave. So I just mumbled to my friends, hey, I'm going to go find Ethan. And I walked away. I don't even think they heard me. I don't know. I just walked away, and they were like, where'd Liam go? And so I was walking through the store, and I was freaking out. I was like, why? And so I was hoping that if she did see me, that she wouldn't recognize me. So I took off my glasses. So then, I look totally different. Shaved face, burnt face, and no glasses. Probably look like a totally different person with that. But also I was blind, so that wasn't the best. And I was looking. I couldn't find Ethan. I was still walking, and I found Ethan. Oh my god! And I was like, oh, I gotta bring you back to those guys. Yeah, let's go. But then I turned, and they found found us, and so they were talking, but I was just still standing there, and I was so scared. And then we left, and we sat somewhere, and I was not entertaining anymore because my day was ruined. I was just like, I didn't understand why I reacted that way. Why did it freak me out so much? And I'll get to that later, but it was a weird thing, and it just ruined my night. And I told them later. We went fishing, I think, the next day, and I told Will, and it sucked. I hated it. But that was the last time I saw her. That was, a year ago. Except it wasn't the last time I saw her. I saw her 2 months ago. How did I see her 2 months ago? Well, at this point, which was something that was great, was, it'd been a whole year. I grew a full face of hair again. I grew a full head of hair again, and a lot more than that. And I had forgotten about her. We were at the square, me, Will, and Colin. And I said I had to go to the bathroom. And I went to the bathroom, and they waited outside, I guess. I went to the bathroom, and I was sitting in the bathroom, and I wondered, because of coronavirus, did she come back? Because I don't know if you recall, she went off to college. And I thought, no, of course not. Because I had it in my mind, like, well, she probably got a job where she went and she paid for an apartment or something down there. I don't know why I was like, well, dorms don't exist. That was obviously not true because I'm telling the story. And so I went, after finishing in the bathroom, while in the bathroom, I thought, before I leave, I can get a drink that's like 57 cents. And so I went and got a drink, but like 3/4 the way there, I saw her. Same store that we went to. The same store we went to in that second story. And that's why I was wondering if she was still there. And she was. And she probably came back because the coronavirus. And so she had to have a job, and they gave her old job back. And I freaked out. Internally, of course, because I still walked over to the drinks, got my drink, did self-checkout. I don't know if she knew I was there. Like, I never got a full look at her. I'm pretty positive it was her. But I like, my heart started racing. And I got my drink. I was like shaking. I put my coins from the change in my pocket, and I almost missed my pocket. I was shaking. And then I left, and then my day was ruined. And we sat, we drank, and they ate their food or whatever. And I just kind of sat on that. I told Will, I didn't tell Colin. I don't know. I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to think that we just couldn't go back there anymore. We can. I don't care. Even if I react weird, who cares? That's me. It's my problem. I just didn't understand. Why? After a whole year, I'd forgotten this person. I reacted that way. How can a person, nothing makes me shake. I've never had an immense fear to shake. The only thing that makes me shake is if I've been doing a bunch of hard labor and my muscles are tired, which isn't that often. But it made me shake. And then I finally realized why I reacted that way. I didn't react that way in the AP test, but I reacted the other 2 times. And here's why. Because the AP test, I was thinking, yeah, I'll probably see her again there, but I'm not sure. I'm positive because you can't exempt an AP exam, but I'll probably see her there. But the other 2 times, I had no idea. It can't be not knowing that you're going to see that person makes you shake and your heart race. And then I realized it's because also the way I guess you could say coped with trying to forget that person is by, in my mind, subconsciously, I guess, thinking they don't exist anymore. They're not in your world. You're not going to see them again because they're gone forever. So I feel like it's kind of like if someone died and then one day you open your door and there they were. You probably freak out. Obviously, in my head, I wasn't like, you are dead to me, but I was adamant that I would never see that person again. The whole reason I did what I did last year was because I thought I'd never see that person again. But I did. And I reacted the same way each time. So why am I telling you this? Because it's interesting. It's an interesting little tidbit. Do I still have feelings for them? No, I'm not really sure. I do. I don't think if they were like, hey, want to be in a relationship? I don't really think I'd say it. No, I mean, of course I would, but I'm not thinking every day like, oh man, please. It's weird. Like, I've gotten over it. Like, at no point during those last 2 stories was I thinking, man, they're beautiful, or man, I wish I could talk to them. I was just like, why are they here? I do kind of wish, though, that I could talk to them like one last time. Just have some closure or something. Because, I mean, the last thing I said to them, they reacted how I thought they would. And they, at one point, said, well, I mean, also, yeah, you're right. I'm in a relationship, so nothing could happen. And I said, yeah, I know. Just to let you know. Bye. That's kind of a weird last word to say to someone. Like, I think that's exactly what I said. Yeah, just to let you know. bye. That's exactly what I said. And so I wish I could just like ask them how their life's going or something. Just have a short little closure conversation. But I won't, like I always do. But also, yeah, I don't know. It's something crazy this whole year. It's just being emotional. I've never really been super emotional throughout my life. And ever since last year, I feel like I'm way more aware of emotions. Like that weird episode where I was super angry, having a weird existential feeling almost whenever I saw a person I didn't think I'd see again. And just the bittersweetness of leaving high school. And I think part of what's come with that is I appreciate art more. I don't know if I've shown it a lot to people throughout this year, but I cannot get enough of art, dude. I become like a weird art kid, except I'm not. And I mean all sorts of arts. Music, film, pictures, drawing, painting, photography, poems, anything. I love like interpreting art. I love thinking about it. I love thinking about messages that they send. And I don't know, it's kind of like how my interest with film started. I was never like, whoa, that's crazy. Because the thing is, I've been around film my whole life. My dad works at broadcasting at JBU. And how come I was like kind of barely interested then? I don't know, but I just slowly over time really got invested in the process of film and making stories. I don't know, just this year I slowly just keep having aha moments with art and liking it. Like for instance, something I started doing was coming back to artists and art I've dismissed. Like for instance, I came back to music that I heard probably once because they were like kind of popular, and I didn't understand it at the time. I didn't really like it. Like Grimes, Neutral Milk Hotel, Thundercat. People talked about it. I listened to their stuff and I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I came back to it and now I really like that stuff. Like whenever I listen to new songs now, I like to go on Genius and look at the lyrics. Man, I sound so like kind of stereotypical now. But no, seriously, like I look at the lyrics and there's some songs that I would be like, oh, okay. Like I kind of like this song before, but now because I like looked at the lyrics and looked at their meanings, then the song is just like elevated for me. And I like listening to the song for the poetic value. I just listen to the songs by those people now and I can't get enough of art stuff, dude. Like some lines from songs that I really like. And how long would you sleep if the sun decided not to shine? And I was like, oh yeah. I understand. How long would I sleep if the sun decided not to shine? You remember that song that was kind of a one-hit wonder by like Gotti or Gotti or something? Somebody that I used to know. You can get addicted to a certain kind of sadness. And yeah, no, that's true. Like there's times where I'm trying, like I want to be sad. Like I feel kind of sad, but I'm not crying. So I want to make myself like to the point where last year when I cried about a girl, I tried to make myself cry and I just couldn't. And there's like sometimes where I'm like a deep thing of sadness that I can easily get myself out of, but I don't really want to. I just like feeling sad because again, I was never really emotionally in tune before this year. And again, I don't know how people would feel about me talking about that. Like do people care? I don't think so. Nobody cares. One thing I remember distinctly was being in class and there was a poem called The Wild Geese. I don't remember what that poem was. The poem goes, you don't have to be good. You don't have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. At first glance, you read that and you're like, okay, whatever. But we were in English class when we read this poem, so they were like, what do you think of it? And the thing is everybody came to their own conclusions, but the conclusion was one simple thing. You be you. Like verbatim. A lot of people were like, you be you. Yeah, just be yourself. Do you. And then when they came to me, they were like, what do you think? And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much it. But really, I wrote like a big long thing. I mean, it's not too long, but it was what I thought of the poem. I said, It may feel like your struggle matters little in the grand scheme of things, but it matters to you. It's not that the world doesn't care about you, it's that it doesn't know you. Be true to yourself despite the world. That's what I wrote. That's what I thought of the poem. But I just didn't share it. Because the thing is it wasn't that at the time I wasn't thinking nobody cares. No one cares, my little philosophy for you. It was more so I didn't want to seem pretentious. I didn't want to seem like, well, actually, this is what I thought of the poem. But also, I'm pretty sure if I did tell it, then people would be like, then I'd maybe make them feel bad about their you do you thing. I'm not here to make people feel bad about their observations. Another thing that I like is I rewatched the Blade Runner stuff, and I saw the art stuff in that, and I loved it, man. Like that one quote at the very end with the antagonist.
All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain.
I was like, yo, I don't know why I didn't notice that at first. Like when I saw it the second time, I was like, that's so poetic and nice. And when I did that, I did this. I was like, and then I looked to Lucas, and he was just wasn't reacting. And so I just looked back and continued watching the movie. Another thing that I thought was crazy, just a cool thing that I admired, was in Blade Runner 2049. If you haven't seen that, I'm about to kind of spoil something. But at one point, he has a little virtual wife, the protagonist, but he has to take her and make sure that there's no trace of him at this apartment. So he put her on this little stick that he can take anywhere. But if that stick breaks, she's technically dead. Like, she's gone. So it's a risk that he took, and then she broke and she died. And then at one point, he's beat up. He is down in the dumps. Like, it's a real low for the character. And then one final thing is, like, he looks over at this ad for her, because it was her, because again, she was just like a program that you could have as a wife. And so she was advertised, and she's like, you look lonely. And he's just standing there like,
what a day.
I'm like, that is, oh my god, that is so sad. I feel really bad for this character right now. But then when I saw that, I looked over and he just wasn't reacting either. I was like, man, why didn't I see this before? Imagine your wife dies and then you see her being advertised and she has no memory of you, and she's just like, you look lonely. That's so good. That's so good. And that's been used as a reaction image all over, like, stuff. And I was like, I don't get, like, I guess because the aesthetic of Blade Runner was cool. And it's like, well, there's that. And also, it's just so, the feels, dude. The feels. And so I understand it now. I really like that picture. And the thing is it's good to know that you don't feel alone in your thinking of that. I really like art and nobody really cares. For instance, one of my favorite books. Well, my favorite book was King Dork, and then there was a sequel, and that's where this quote is from. And the sequel is just as good, but I think I like the first one more. The quote is, you can make something mean anything you want, and you can spend a great deal of time and effort choosing your words and allusions and quotations carefully, and hardly anyone will even notice or get it anyway. And I say that to my phone because I was like, yeah, no, that's right. There's been times in videos that I made, like stupid little videos I put on my channel, that I'm like, I wonder if anyone will notice this little thing I did. And no one does. I can't think of any right now because I'm not going to berate people for not noticing my little things. But that's true. Like, they're not going to notice. No one cares. It just keeps coming up over and over again. No one cares. And it's so true. Oh my gosh. Also, I mentioned I was famous last year. From Sourdough. And I'd get recognized. And then I was again in Tiger Vision. And also, I was just very much myself this year. I was fully in myself. I mean, I feel like I was like all other years of my life, but this year I felt like I could really be myself to other people. I was myself to my friends, and then you kind of put on a different mask around other people. But now I feel like I'm exactly the same everywhere I go, except for right now, where I'm saying everything. But even then, like last year, I feel like things I was saying I never really told anyone, and I'd be able to put in your review. But there's stuff I'm going through in this list that I realized, like, I have talked to some people about some of these things. But something that was weird is, like, I was really good in theater, and I was the senior kid, and so they Like, yeah, Liam. Just something weird that happened all throughout the year. I kept getting compliments. I would not stop getting compliments. People will compliment me. Mostly dudes. But, like, on my talents and my abilities. That's so weird. Like, if you're going to get a compliment, people are going to be like, nice shoes, nice shirt, nice hair. But I never really got those. I mean, I got some for my hair because it's long now. And I just kept getting compliments. And at first, I liked it. Obviously, who doesn't like compliments? But I felt empty at the end of the year. I felt bad that I was like put on a pedestal almost. God, I sound so like arrogant to be like, oh, I'm so famous. Oh my God. But no, it's weird. It's weird having that even slight experience of fame at a young age, or young enough, I mean, is weird. And it affected me. And I didn't feel good about it. Like, I didn't feel... What I felt like was like that ape that did sign language. Like, that ape is saying something, but people are filming him in a zoo, and then they put it on Reddit or something, and people are like, wow, that's so entertaining. Dude, I want to follow up on that gorilla. What else is he saying, bro? Anything else you got to say? Because, I mean, that's the thing. I felt like a zoo animal. I felt like I was just being, like, gawked and admired, but not touched, not actually seen. You know, you go to the zoo to look at the gorilla, but you don't want to take him home and feed him. You don't want to be his friend. You just want to see him do the sign language, give him the upvote, and leave. Throughout the whole year, I was, even as a senior, where I felt like I didn't know anybody anymore, I was definitely noticed, but I did not felt seen. Fame is overrated. I mean, it feels weird saying famous, even though it's just a school of 3,500 kids, and barely even like half of them were acknowledging me, but still, that's like too many people. And that's the craziest part. When it all comes back to it, no one cares. You may feel bad watching this right now and being like, no, I care, but seriously, face it, dude. Think about all the people in your life. If you have a child, even if you have a child, especially if you have a child, you love your child. You love everything about this child. But there's some things that your child's interested in that you are not, and you don't care. You will act like you care. You will convince yourself you care. Sometimes the kid will talk to you about something they like, and you're like, oh, okay. And you're just going along with it because you love them. But you cannot possibly care about everything another person's telling you. The only way you could do that is if you don't have an identity yourself and you live through that other person. The simple truth of no one cares is not... It's like another one of my favorites. This too shall pass. I love using that one because this too shall pass means not one thing, but two things. This thing sucks. I hate this thing, but this too shall pass. This thing sucks, but it will pass. You don't have to think about it. But it also means that I love this thing. This thing is so good and I never want it to leave. But this too shall pass. It's just a simple truth that things will move on. Just like this too shall pass, no one cares. No one can possibly care enough. No one. Even if you feel like you are soulmates, if you are the most compatible people of all time, there's going to be something that you just don't care about the other person. Some small thing, even. No one cares. And we all have to learn that at some point. I like to bring up stuff about myself now in conversation because, I mean, that's something you can do to spur the conversation on. But at some point, you're sharing too much and no one cares. Now, the way I've talked about it obviously sounds very negative, but the positive bit about it, kind of like this too shall pass and that good things also have to go, or the good thing is that bad things go, was once you know that, then life doesn't suck. I mean, my life didn't suck before, but it becomes way easier when you realize no one cares. For instance, I could be myself. I mean, there wasn't anything holding me back necessarily, but it was, once I knew no one cared, like even if I was wacky, crazy, weirdo. Thing is, I knew I wasn't going to be that, but I knew to where my extent of what I was comfortable with being myself to the fullest. I feel like, years down the line, people could forget me. I might leave a lasting impression that they liked me and they do remember me. But that's the thing, no one cares. You either care too much about something and you want to share it with people and no one cares about that, or you feel like people care too much about your stuff and so you don't want to accidentally put yourself out there too much where you dampen your face, your image. But the thing is no one cares. They're all worried about their stuff. I'm just glad that I know that now. But yeah, looking back on all of high school, looking back on all my classes, I can't even remember all of them. It's a wild ride, but it doesn't make you. You make you. High school is like what everybody says, it's what you make of it. simple truth that you don't take to heart until you experience it. Wow, yeah, I really cannot remember a lot of high school. 4 years I was at the same school, and I cannot remember things right away. Well, I guess that was my year in review, senior. And now, because I can't really recall those years super easily, I guess I'll let this speak for itself. Here's high school in review. See ya.
Daddy, please hear this song that I sing. In your heart there's a spark that just screams for a lover to bring a child to your chest that could lay as you sleep and love all you have left, like your boy used to be long ago, wrapped in sheets warm and wet. Blessed up, please, with those wings in your spine. Love to be with a brother of mine. How he'd love to find your tongue in his teeth in a struggle to find secret songs that you keep wrapped in boxes so tight, sounding only at night as you sleep. And in my dreams you're alive and you're crying as your mouth moves in mine, soft and sweet. Rings of flowers round your eyes, and I love you for the rest of your life in your brother, see, we are one in the same. And you left with your head filled with flames, and you watched as your brains fell out through your teeth. Push the pieces in place, make your smile sweet to see. Don't you take this away, I'm still wanting my face on your cheek. And when we break, we'll wait for our miracle. God is a place where some holy spectacle lies. When we break, we'll wait for our miracle. but don't hate her when she gets up to